So recently, with new players and returning players coming back to the Division 2 with year 6 of Season 1, lots of players have been asking about the expertise system and is it worth it to level up? You can currently see my expertise is 18. At the moment, the max level you can get is 26. But a lot of you guys had questions on what does expertise system do? Is it even worth it? So let's talk about what expertise does. The best way to do this is actually we're gonna go to one of our builds, right? So we're back at our builds and you can see that some of these items have this little star. And what that means is this item is proficient. If you don't know what proficient means for an item, it means that you've gone through all 10 ranks to get that one item proficient. Let me show you an item that isn't proficient. This item, proficiency rank is 3. Once you get to proficiency rank 10, that item will switch and it will now say proficient. So that's how you guys can see proficiency rank. There's 10 proficiency ranks in an item. To level that up, use those items, donate those items, donate materials towards those items. And I'll show you that in a few, but I just want to show you what the proficiency rank. Now, what does it do? Is it worth adding to a weapon? So for every 1 expertise level you have, you can add that to your weapon. So right here, you see I have 15 expertise on this weapon right here. I can get this all the way up to 18. Your expertise level that you can max add to a weapon will be the expertise that you currently have, like right here. So if I look at the Ouroboros, I'm currently expertise 18. I have 18% weapon damage. I can't go to 19 expertise on this weapon until I get 19 expertise. So the max expertise you can put on a weapon is what your max total expertise is. But for every expertise level you add to a weapon, that's 1% weapon damage. Yes, so in all the weapons, if you look at this capacitor, I have 7 expertise, 7% weapon damage. So that's why this can actually help out a lot of builds. If you're playing PvE, this is great. If you're playing PvP, this is great too. So just so for you guys to know, 1% weapon damage for every expertise level you put on a weapon. Now for gear, how does it work with gear? Well, for gear, it's a little bit different. I don't think I have anything here. Let me see if I have one. Yeah, I have a memento. So again, it's 1% armor, but that 11% armor isn't your total armor. It's only 11% of the armor you have. So if you see the memento is 131,000, well, it's 11%. It's not the total armor of 1.3 million, right? It's the total armor of that one piece. So that's why each piece you can put up to 26% expertise, and it's gonna be based off of that armor piece alone. So you can 26% extra off that one armor piece, which isn't bad at all once you start adding a bunch of them, but it's not like the weapon damage where you really see it. That's why a lot of PvE players only focus on adding expertise to their weapons and not to the gear. Now, skills also have an expertise. As you guys can see, you can get a proficient. Now, depending on the skill that you're using, some skills will give you healing, some skills will give you damage. It really just depends on what skill you are using, because that skill is going to be different. So some give you more damage, duration, healing. When you expertise in it, you'll get that 1% too. So on like the assault turret, you can actually get this one up to 26% extra damage on assault turret, which is actually really good. So now that we know kind of what expertise is and how it benefits your builds, how do you level up expertise? Well, I explained it a little bit earlier. What we're gonna do is we're actually gonna go down to the brand sets. Do I have any that? So this one, this Yauge, right? So what you'll notice is you'll have a leveling system, right? Remember there's 10 ranks for each proficiency. Once you get to proficiency rank 10, you'll get an expertise. If you click on this, you'll see items that you can donate under. If you have no items of that, you can also hit donation materials. And some people, what they'll do is they'll donate the rare material. So every time you donate an item, right, you tab it, you'll see it starts to move, right? And you can do that with almost all of the items in the game. Let's try exotic piece, right? Exotic, say you don't have an exotic and you don't plan on using it, you can click on this and then you can go to donate materials and you can donate any extra materials you have. And like that is an easy way for you to level those up. Ideally, when you're first starting off, what I would do is, we're gonna go back to my build, is I would create builds that are using those pieces you need to level. So if you want to create a striker build, well, you actually have 4 pieces on there, right? So that's going to improve how fast you level up an item. So you can level up an item by using it, you can level an item by donating that one item piece, or you can level up an item by donating materials. So there are 3 different ways for you to really donate items. If you have skills that you aren't using because you do have to level them up, as long as they are there, they're still going to get XP. If you have a secondary, what I like to do is I always like to put an exotic on my secondary if I'm using a high-end weapon as my primary, and that way that one starts to level up too. Same thing with pistols. Pistols, add a pistol in there when you're leveling up. So that way you're constantly leveling up your expertise just by doing that. Now, a good way to do high-end items is when you start getting a little bit extra cash. Whenever there is vendor resets, a lot of them will have high-end weapons. Like right now we have the Prophet for sale, and a couple of the other vendors have a named item. You can go to those named items, buy them, and donate them. Now, to get any weapon, right? Any weapon, any named item, whether it's gear or weapons, it's 20 items you need to donate. Now, regular pieces are a little bit more, but the ones that I recommend really donating are the named items. If you can buy any of those named items, you'll get them pretty quick. Now, if you're trying to grind levels really early on, say you're early, you just got into the game, you're working on your shade level, I recommend doing open world activities. So look at your open world map, do control points. You'll see all the brand sets, right? We can see all the brand sets that you have. And say if you need Negotiator's Dilemma right here, you go here, and I would just work on getting control points, getting any of these open world activities, because not only is this going to level up your expertise, it's also going to level up your Shade Watch, and it's going to give you blueprints from the control points. There's a lot of benefits for you to really do this. The open world activities is a great way for you to start off. Now, say you're a little further on and you've gotten all the blueprints from all the control points. Well, that's where I would actually head over to Countdown. The reason why is because Countdown drops a ton of loot. You can do this on challenging, and you have 8-man teams. You just run through this and you can target loot anything you want. So you can literally say you want to farm weapons. You can put pistols, SMGs, assault rifles, shotguns. Then you can go, okay, I want to finish this brand set. Okay, strikers. Any set you want, any brand set. Now, there are 2 sets that won't be on here. You won't have the YAO, or you won't have the System Corruption. But overall, you should be able to get almost every item in there unless it's not tied to this. So ideally, this is a great way for you to start leveling your expertise. I recommend once you've done all the control points, do the weapons first, because that's going to give you that initial bump of expertise levels pretty quick, and you can get a ton of items, right? And then obviously after that, you could do the brand sets, you could do the gear sets just to get those out the way, because those you can run through them, boom, be done with it. And then you could start working on any of the named items, chest piece, backpacks, whatever you need. Because at the end of each countdown, you'll have hunters, and they also drop weapons. But the good thing about the expertise tab is your expertise, your total expertise level will be connected to all of your characters once you hit level 40 and you get your Shade Watch. So if you make 2 other characters, your total expertise level will be on those characters. Now, one thing you should remember though is when you do level up one weapon and you get it to 15 expertise, well, that weapon is the only weapon that's gonna have it. If I have another shield splinter, it won't be 15. So make sure once you do this, you mark them favorite, right? Just make sure you have that little star so that way you don't delete it. Make sure any item that you spend expertise in, you mark favorite, because you just don't want to delete it, and you can see there. So hopefully this video kind of cleared up how to get expertise levels, what you should do, what you shouldn't do. Now, remember, there are a few items that you will have to craft. If you head over to the crafting vendor, and I'll show you right here, just mask, and you scroll down, there are a few items like improvised mask, improvised chest, improvised backpack that you will have to craft. They do not drop in the open world, and then you can donate these. The good thing is these only take 20 and then it will get a proficient. The same thing is going to happen with any of the named items. So if we go to the chess pieces, there are a few chess pieces that you can only craft, and one of them being, so this chess piece does not drop in the open world, you do have to craft it. So remember, there are a few items that you have to craft, but once you craft them, you can donate them and you can just go straight to your expertise. So remember, if my expertise level is 18, the max expertise I can put on a weapon is 18. Once you get to 19, then you can raise up that weapon to 19. Again, start off with weapons first after you do the control points and stuff like that, because that's gonna give you a chunk of XP, as these only take 20 each to get them fully proficient, right? So hopefully this kind of cleared up, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys have any questions on expertise levels, grinding it, what it does, how it's effective, I think it's worth it. At least if you're playing PvE, most players just stick to the weapons. If you're playing PvP, most players stick to both. So they'll do expertise in their weapons and on their gear, because that armor can make a big difference in their builds, especially when you're fighting other players. Now, if you guys are playing Conflict, it doesn't really matter, but for PvE, weapons is where people like to put their expertise levels in. But yeah, that is how you guys get your expertise levels up. Hopefully that helps. Remember, once you get late game, recommend checking out that video I just posted about making a mule character, because that's where you'll go. Because remember, leveling up these skills takes a while. Leveling up these exotics takes a while, and you never know how long it's going to take you to get that item up, right? So being able to donate materials and having that extra mule count to give you those because you share them is a great way for you to level those up. So hopefully this helped you guys out. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I'll see you in the next one. Nothing But Skills is out.